These horror stories of people finding creepy hidden rooms in their house will send shivers down your spine. Kara and Alex, a young couple, recently purchased their first home together, a charming but worn-down colonial in a sleepy part of Vermont. The house, built in the late 1800s, needed work, but they were excited for the project. It had an odd layout, with numerous small rooms and corridors that sometimes seemed to lead nowhere. As they started renovations, Alex began to update the electrical system, which required him to access all areas of the house, including a forgotten, cramped crawlspace beneath the staircase. It was here, behind a pile of old, dusty furniture and stacks of yellowed newspapers, that he discovered a small wooden door, cleverly concealed and flush with the wall. Curiosity piqued, Alex called for Kara, and together, they opened the door to reveal a narrow, darkened hallway leading to a steep set of steps downward. With only the light from their phones to guide them, they descended into the pitch-black space. At the bottom of the stairs, they found a small, sealed room. The air was musty, heavy with the scent of mildew and something else, something faintly metallic. The room was bare, except for a large, antique mirror against the far wall and a dusty chandelier hanging from the ceiling, which swayed slightly as if recently disturbed. Kara, feeling a chill run down her spine, suggested they leave, but Alex was drawn to the mirror. As he approached, he noticed that the glass was not reflecting the room, but showed another room entirely, a room that appeared to be in the same house but was in pristine condition, unlike any part of their actual home. Kara joined Alex by the mirror, and as she peered into it, she saw movement in the reflection. A shadowy figure passed through the mirrored room, pausing to look directly at them before moving out of sight. The couple, frozen with fear, heard a faint whisper echoing from the depths of the mirror, calling them by name. They backed away, the whisper growing into a cacophony of voices as they retreated up the stairs. Once they reached the main floor, Alex slammed the door shut and piled furniture against it. The voices stopped abruptly, but the image of the figure in the mirror haunted them both. Disturbed by the discovery and unable to explain it, Kara and Alex contacted a local historian to learn more about the house's history. They learned it was once owned by a reclusive artist known for his bizarre and often macabre works. According to local lore, he had an obsession with the occult and mirrors, believing them to be portals to parallel realms. With this new, unsettling information, the couple debated their next steps. Eventually, they decided to seal the room permanently, covering the door with drywall and vowing never to speak of it again. Nathan and Lisa were drawn to a quaint bungalow on the edge of a dense, whispering woodland in rural Maine. The house, which they acquired from an estate sale, was steeped in history, having been the sanctuary of a reclusive, elderly woman until her recent passing. From the very first night, the couple was unnerved by subtle but persistent noises, soft scratches, and faint murmurs that seemed to emanate from the very heart of the walls. Initially, they chalked it up to the natural settling of an old home. Their curiosity piqued one cold evening when Nathan, while setting up their home office, shifted an ancient heavy armoire left by the previous owner. Hidden behind its bulk was a small, cleverly concealed door. With a mix of trepidation and excitement, he called over Lisa to explore this unexpected find. Together they opened the door, revealing a narrow, dust-laden tunnel that descended into the darkness below. With only the dim light from their flashlights to guide them, they carefully made their way down the creaking wooden steps. The air grew cooler and mustier as they descended into the unknown. At the tunnel's end, they discovered a small, secluded room, its walls curved into a domed ceiling. The sparse furnishings consisted of a decrepit wooden table and a solitary chair, both shrouded in cobwebs. On the table lay a tattered journal, its leather cover cracked and pages yellowed with age. Lisa, ever the historian, couldn't resist poring over the journal. The entries revealed the deep loneliness and spiraling despair of the house's last inhabitant, with mentions of voices whispering from the shadows, urging her to remain hidden from the outside world. The more they read, the louder the surrounding whispers grew, as if the house itself was reacting to their discovery. Disturbed by the intensifying chorus of voices, the couple decided to seal the hidden room and leave the journal untouched, hoping to preserve the dignity of the house's former occupant. Despite this, the whispers did not cease. Instead, they intensified each night, seeping into every corner of the house, insistent and unsettling. Overwhelmed by the relentless auditory hauntings, Nathan and Lisa decided they could no longer stay. They left the bungalow, but didn't sell it, hoping that time away might bring clarity. They moved into a new apartment in the city, but the memories of those voices refused to fade. Months later, driven by a need for closure and haunted by the memories of their former home, they returned to the bungalow they still owned. The house appeared untouched, as if frozen in time, eagerly awaiting their return. The hidden door was no longer covered. Nathan stared at it in disbelief, the memories of sealing it vividly replaying in his mind. "How is this possible?" he whispered, his voice trembling with a mix of fear and confusion. With apprehension, they descended once again into the hidden room. Inside, they were met with an eerie sight. The chair was now positioned facing the entrance, as though expecting them. The journal on the table was open, its pages rustling softly as though caught in a non-existent breeze. Lisa approached and read the new entry in horror. Written in the same looping script as before, it now included a personal and chilling message. "Dear Lisa, you've returned, as I knew you would. You hear them too, don't you? The voices that do not silence, the whispers that beckon. You understand my solitude now, the prison of these walls that speak. You belong here with us, as much a part of this house as I." Terrified, Lisa dropped the journal. Nathan quickly took her hand and they hurriedly ascended the stairs as the murmurs crescendoed into an overwhelming cacophony. They fled the house, the voices echoing in their ears, promising never to be silent, always waiting, always watching. In the spring of 2024, Emily and her husband Mark excitedly moved into an old Victorian house they had purchased in a quiet suburb of Providence, Rhode Island. The house, built in 1885, had been meticulously maintained, retaining much of its original charm, including intricate woodwork and stained glass windows that cast colorful patterns on the floors on sunny days. For the first few weeks, their new home felt like a dream. However, Emily began noticing odd noises, whispers of old wood settling, she initially thought. The sound seemed concentrated around a particular hallway on the second floor, which housed a sizable, antiquated linen closet. One evening, while Mark was away on a business trip, the noises grew louder, and Emily decided to investigate. As she examined the closet, she realized that the back panel felt unusually hollow and seemed to subtly vibrate with the creaks of the house. Curiosity overcame her initial hesitation, and with some effort, she discovered that the panel could slide aside, revealing a narrow, dark passage leading downward. With nothing but her phone's flashlight, Emily descended the stairs behind the panel. The air grew cooler and staler as she went deeper. At the bottom, she found herself in a small, hidden room that was entirely out of place with the rest of the house. The room contained a single chair, an old desk, and scattered across the floor were pages filled with frantic, looping handwriting. The writings were disturbing, a mixture of ramblings about being watched and plans for something sinister. Emily's heart raced as she pieced together that a previous occupant might have used this hidden space for some dark purpose. The final entry in the scattered pages was dated just a month before they purchased the house. Frightened, she rushed back upstairs, sliding the panel back into place. The house no longer felt safe or dreamlike. Emily called Mark, her voice shaking as she explained her discovery. Mark insisted on calling the police to investigate further. They arrived and examined the hidden room, but found nothing conclusive to suggest recent activity. Unable to shake their unease, Emily and Mark stayed in a hotel that night. Over the next few days, they debated their next steps. Eventually, they decided to seal the hidden passage and install a new security system, trying to reclaim the peace of their new home. However, the echoes in the hallway never completely subsided, and the whisper of secrets hidden in the walls seemed to linger in the corners of their quiet old house. Like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more horror stories.